Welcome back to the channel, guys. Another 2021 Ram TRX behind me, completed with our 900+ horsepower package. As you can see, beautiful red, factory wheels and tires, factory brakes. Main difference between this one and the last few that we did was the factory airbox. This one still has stock airbox. The customer came in, I think it has drop-in AFE filters in it, but besides that, it does have our complete 900 horsepower package. So baseline, this one was 567 rear wheel horsepower, 93 octane, it made 722, and then on E85 we were at 770 rear wheel horsepower. The one we finished up like 2 days ago made roughly, I think it was like right at 800 rear wheel horsepower, I think like 802. Again, the only difference between that one and this one was SMB airbox and air filter, as well as a coarse exhaust, which the coarse exhaust really doesn't pick up the horsepower. It's more about the SMB air filter. And the reason we can see that, not only is it really hot today, the restriction as far as boost goes, with the better airbox system, it's more efficient. We see more boost with a better air filter system. This package right here behind us is about 1.5 pounds of boost less than the previous ones that we do when we run our 5-inch airbox or the SMB airbox. So again, 770 rear wheel horsepower in 110-degree weather is still stupid and insane, and Mr. Maxwell's gonna love this thing. But he actually just came into town and he's gonna drive this thing all the way back home. So these are hot pulls that we're making. We've been dynoing it for the past 2 hours, getting it dialed in for him. So it's not like we let this thing sit for an hour and made one big glory pull. If we let it sit and cool off, it probably would make like 785 or 790 rear wheel horsepower.
Hey guys, so we have our JMS booster pump here. This system here goes ahead and takes your factory fuel pumps and runs them at a higher voltage and lets you flow more PSI for E85 on these TRX vehicles. From factory they come with dual pumps, so the volume is there, we just run them at a little bit higher voltage to get that extra pressure out. This is a very simple install, done with basic hand tools, you know, and we're going to go through the process here and mount it, run our lines to the pumps. These are fused individually, and we're going to run our activator signal to the front, and this gets activated through accelerated pedal position. So it's progressive in the sense of how much it needs on demand and how much your throttle input is. So we're just going to mount it to the floor here, run our wires through underneath the seat. There's a grommet access from the factory behind this carpet here, where the wires come out from factory, and there's an open cavity next to it that we use. And we run the wires down, run these across under the carpet and towards the front of the cab, and get it all hooked up. It's very straightforward. There's no need to run power wires or anything. It's all supplied from the factory harness. So it's just basically like an amplifier in a sense. So we're gonna go ahead and locate our GMS, try to center it as best as possible on this plate here. Thankfully there's nothing behind it, so we're not gonna worry about sinking our self-tapping screws through and hitting anything beneath it. Now for inserting self-tapping screws into carpet, I like to go backwards first, a couple times, and that breaks up the fibers of the carpet so you don't go ahead and rip the threads in it. Your carpet doesn't start stringing itself off. ahead and get this out of the way for the moment. Now we're going to take our harnesses, and I like to split off the ground wire just to make it look cleaner. We'll go ahead and zip tie all the wires together, make it look nice and neat. That way it never gets caught on anything under the seat if the customer decides to throw anything under here, like fishing rods or crossbows, I don't know.
AK-47.
Texas Rangers usually don't carry AK-47s. So now we're gonna,
gun.
if you want to hide your Barrett 50 cal down here. But we're gonna go ahead and feed these two wires. These are gonna go to our T harnesses that are already plugged into our fuel control modules underneath. They're gonna feed them through this grommet down there and plug them in. Active wire here. We have the singular wire that's going to go to our throttle adapter at the front, and then we have our multi-pin connector that goes back here. JMS also offers different options to turn on, but this is the easiest plug-and-play method. But if you're running something aftermarket or have an older vehicle that you want to run one of these with, they're also applicable to those applications. So now we're just going to conveniently feed it under the carpet here and run it through the sill towards the front. So now we're at the front. We have our single wire that came from our module, and now we have our T harness. This is going to go to our throttle or accelerator pedal, and then this is going to go in line to the stock harness. And what this does is it interprets the throttle position signal, and it sends that signal back to the module to let it know to activate. We have our Injector Dynamics 1300cc injectors here. We're going to go ahead and upgrade them. Since we go ahead and upgrade our supercharger pulleys to produce more boost, we're going to increase that airflow. We're going to also have to increase the fuel. Now this customer specifically also wants to go with E85, so we went with 1300s instead of the 1000cc injectors, because E85 uses roughly about 50% more fuel per duty cycle as compared to 93. But this also gives you the option to run 93 and 85. So if you wants to switch back and forth, all you just do is run the duty cycle a little lower on the injector. They'll run it at its full potential. And you could still have plenty of room to go from 85 to 93. These stock injectors don't flow as much, so we have these with a larger orifice inside and better control at higher RPM. These injectors start hitting their maximum duty cycle. They start becoming more uncontrollable. You know, you're running everything at its maximum. It doesn't flow as accurately as it would if it had more space to work with. Now, physically, they're both the same size. What really matters is the jetting on the inside. So they go ahead and change the valving and the jetting inside of the actual injector, so it produces more volume. It has a better spray pattern and so forth. And they also include these adapters, so they go ahead and fit in the factory location. They have the right height for the injector to match the factory injector height, and it's a plug and play deal. So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of silicone on these O-rings so they don't tear when we install them, and go through the process of replacing all of them. Nope. You want to come out just a little bit so you can go ahead and put your lock that injector in. And give it a little tug to make sure it's fully seated. That's it. Now we go ahead and repeat that process 8 times on each rail and go ahead and throw them back in the supercharger. Make a lot more power.
My name's David Maxwell. I brought my TRX here to have LMR give me some more
horsepower. My baseline when on the dyno was 567 on 93, and with the E85 we ended up getting 767. So we gained 200 horsepower at the rear wheels. I'm excited about seeing how everything works now. It's been a great truck. I had a Raptor for 11 years before, and this is my favorite truck so far.
All right, Mr. Maxwell, he's been a Texas Ranger for a long time now. Cool ass customer. You could tell he loves vehicles and performance. He has multiple cars. He's been racing his whole life. His son has the bug. I think he's actually been an airplane pilot. Now he's retired playing with cars, but he gave me a little present that not many people have, and they only get so many to give out. So just want to say thank you, Mr. Maxwell, and as always, love doing business with you. Enjoy your truck. Thank you.